Well, I saw the Young and the Restless news yesterday and figured I should probably talk about it because since I started talking about soap operas on this channel last October, I've been saying Josh Griffith needs to go. Josh Griffith needs to be fired from the Young and the Restless. His writing was not just non-existent, but it was just piss poor. It still remains to this day a very boring, poorly written show. We're going to go through some of Josh Griffith's biggest mistakes over the past year plus that I've been doing these soap opera rankings on this channel. But instead of firing Josh Griffith, now he is not only just the head writer, he is the only executive producer of Young and the Restless as well, because CBS fired Anthony Morina, the other co-executive producer. Morina's been going through some legal troubles. They probably should have fired Anthony long ago. He's about to go on trial, I believe, in March for sexual harassment type situation. It's been a mess for Morina and Sony and CBS with Young and the Restless. Instead of cleaning house, though, like they should have done long ago, they're still keeping Josh Griffith on as head writer and executive producer, sole executive producer, Young and the Restless. It's a joke. It's a joke. This, to me, once and for all proves that CBS and ABC, they don't care at all about their soap operas. They don't care at all about Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, General Hospital. They don't want to make any of the right changes to make these shows better and improve them at all. They just continue to all scrape the bottom of the barrel. All the poor American soap operas continue to do so. I do believe that Days moving to Peacock has meant that NBC Universal does actually care about Days of Our Lives. They definitely see it as an entity that they can use. Now, Days isn't making any changes either with their creative team, which I think could also use a change. All of the creative teams on American soap operas can use some big changes, especially with the writing, but none more so than Josh Griffith. I did say in my last Young and the Restless video for the rankings for November that I did feel like if any show was going to make some changes, it was going to be the Young and the Restless. They are making some changes here, but Josh Griffith now just heading up both the writing and the producing all by himself. I can only imagine how boring this show is going to be. We all might as well prepare to sleep right through the 50th anniversary, because we all know it's probably going to be boring as hell. Although I do see some possible good things on the horizon for Young and the Restless, but with Griffith's writing, we've seen it for years now, it peters out before there's any real good drama to come out of it. He peters out his stories way too early, and then we never get any good climaxes to his stories at all, because most of his stories just end up being non-stories in the first place. We go back and we see how boring the show has been. We see them continuing to do the same things over, Nick and Adam and love triangles. We saw how they wrote Ashland off the show at the wrong time, right when they were actually building some good drama on the show. They just kill him off. One of the biggest things that I think proves how bad Josh Griffith has handled this show as writer, and yet we're supposed to now trust him as executive producer as well, is when the show decided to age Moses and Faith, age them to older teenagers, and then do absolutely nothing with them. Have this almost relationship with the two of them that went absolutely nowhere. They had no airtime. Mind you, this show is called The Young and the Restless. Josh Griffith aged two characters only to do nothing with them. What kind of writer is he, other than a bad one? And just last week, writing Billy to basically say he liked the night that Chelsea raped him was atrocious writing. How horrible was that? Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back in some way, and CBS had to do something, and it was Morina that got the boot, even though Josh Griffith is responsible for the writing, and Billy being written that way to say that about Chelsea. Josh Griffith has been trying to do anything in his power to make Chelsea work. And she doesn't really work anymore. But this, with Billy saying that he was basically liked the night that Chelsea raped him, that was terrible. So I just continue to be left scratching my head why we have to go on and on with Josh Griffith as the writer of the show. And now, just to make matters worse, he's the only executive producer. He has nobody to check him, to make his stories any more interesting, to make him do anything with characters, to actually write stories in the first place. So many stories last year in 2021 were non-stories. They were just like little after-school specials where there would be no actual storylines, no beginning, middle, and end to any storylines in 2021. And like I've mentioned in past Young and the Restless videos, this year, 2022, he continues to write the same story over and over. Now, first we had Ashland, who is the guy that's like the pariah of the town because of some of the things he does. And then we have Diane come back, and he's like a pariah in the town because of some of the things he does. And now that person's kind of Tucker. He came back, and he was the pariah of town because of some of the decisions he makes in the past. Like, he brought on 3 characters this year that were all the same. And wrote it all the same. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Josh Griffith. I wish CBS actually cared about this show and actually would make the right changes. Also, Young and the Restless has done this before, where they make one person both the EP and the writer, and it's proved every single time to be horrible. So why do the same thing over and over? I will never understand the executives at broadcast television. All of them, CBS, ABC, NBC, all these suits that don't know anything about creativity, about what makes a TV show good, and then they constantly make the poor decisions one after another. Tired of it, and we have it here again with Young and the Restless. But I'm going to move on, talk a little General Hospital before I end this video. Marcus Coloma was axed as Nick Cassadine on General Hospital. It had been speculated for weeks because he unfollowed basically everyone on his social media from General Hospital, and it doesn't seem like a good goodbye for Marcus, a very unprofessional goodbye. He refused to film his final scenes, which is just very unprofessional. But it is what it is. He was never a fit for the character of Nicholas in the first place, which isn't completely his fault. I mean, that's a casting issue. Casting him as Nick in the first place was the wrong decision. But then the writing also never wrote him like Nick. He was written as this fool constantly. Now, I will say the way Marcus played Nick also wasn't great. I think he had a lot to do with the way Nicholas was written towards the end as even a bigger fool. And I think the way he acted on social media and even in some interviews regarding the character of Nick, he was just never a fit for the show. It's just the way it is. But yeah, he's out and he has an unprofessional exit from General Hospital. It's not really clear if the role's being recast. I know a lot of people are saying Tyler Christopher's going to be back in, but that has not been proven at all. We'll see what comes of it. But he was not a fit as Nick, so this is actually a good decision from General Hospital, in my opinion, axing him from the show because it was not a fit. I'm seeing now, just today recording this, that the actress that played Epiphany on General Hospital passed away. So my condolences to Sonya's family and loved ones. Epiphany was always a very entertaining character on General Hospital. Never had as big as a role as she could have had, but yeah, that's a sad thing to see today. She was only 55 years old, a very young death there. So rest in peace to her. That is definitely some sad news coming out of General Hospital today. So I'll have to end this on that sad note.